Hi Phil, you are a Code Europe speaker. You are talking about service workers. Can you explain us in more detail what service workers are?
Sure. So service workers are an exciting, relatively new addition to browsers. They've actually been around for almost 2 years now that allow us to build web experiences that work both offline as well as online, and they make for a better user experience ultimately if you build the right kind of experience with it. And I'm kind of excited about that because I feel like the web can really do well with this ability to work offline. It can make better, it can make better and just more resilient experiences for people. You know, eventually we're never going to see like a white screen of a browser that you know, because you've gone offline or you're sort of online, you've got a bad connection. All of that stuff is going to be solved by the service worker, as well as other things like push notifications coming to the browser as well. So we're getting a more app-like experience in a way, but on the web still.
So, service workers, and there are other JavaScript features, of course, coming in a soon feature. So, what do you think, which one of the newest JavaScript features will be the most exciting and will push the language forward in the future the most?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming. I mean, I was happy to see a talk on WebVR this morning by Andre, and like WebVR is kind of exciting that we're like getting into this VR revolution alongside the native things as well. I'm no game developer, so maybe that's not going to push it forward for me, but I can see the platform definitely going that way. Obviously, we have the language itself is evolving, and that's exciting as well. It's exciting not necessarily for users, but for developers to just be able to write JavaScript better. I think that's a great thing, especially given how much complaining there's been over the years about JavaScript. You know, I think the platform itself is maturing, which is really cool. And then we have a whole bunches of like peer-to-peer technologies. We've got WebRTC has been around for a little while, although it's still kind of stabilizing. But I think that opens up just all sorts of experiences that you couldn't imagine on the web beforehand. I mean, from the very simple kind of being able to video chat with people in a browser to like they've implemented BitTorrent across JavaScript, which I think is an absolutely amazing kind of experience. So those are the kind of things I think we're pushing forwards with right now. Plus, not only that, it's not just the language and the platform that's evolving, but also the way that we write applications in JavaScript as well. I've never been a big fan of kind of large JavaScript front-end frameworks because of the kind of weight of them and things like that. But I still think it's exciting that people are pushing the boundaries of how we write applications. And so that's exciting as well for the future and for now. People have been doing it for years now, but I'm just getting into that. So.
All right. And another question about JavaScript is your lectures about service workers here in Code Europe. What other technologies, what other things, what other applications, libraries that are interesting from your point of view you are using in your usual work in Twilio?
Well, so I'm in a very fortunate position at Twilio in which I get to kind of just experiment with whole bunches of technologies all over the place. I don't work on the core product itself, but I get to work on top of both our API and try and integrate that with many other systems. So whilst, as I said, yeah, I'm kind of getting into these bigger JavaScript frameworks right now as we do push into kind of use it. We have a chat API which works in browser as well as iOS and Android, and so building things using my next plan is really getting deep with React and Angular, maybe Ember. We'll see about that. But it's kind of exciting to see that. Like, hopefully I can then take that approach and move it across to native applications as well. I just started working with Swift this year, which is a cool language, which surprised me as a JavaScript developer because I liked the type system. I've never been a fan of types before.
Strange. If you're a JavaScript developer.
Yeah. So it really came to me at a point where I was trying to recreate one particular library, which was to do with currency conversion. Not a particularly exciting thing, but I was working from an existing JavaScript thing, and this JavaScript function was this long, and then I was writing it in Swift, and it came out as 3 lines, because it turned out that all the JavaScript was doing was checking that everything existed for it to go and finally do the final calculation at the bottom. but when you have the types there, you just know you've got everything already. It's done all that checking, and so that really kind of flipped a switch in my brain. So I need to go and look at TypeScript as well, and see about that in JavaScript, and see if we can have types better, and work out if it is better for the platform or not. It just really turned me on to it. So that was quite cool. Where were we? I'm working with loads of stuff, right? Yeah. Well, so yeah, that's what I mean. I get to experiment with all sorts of things. Like I do a fair amount of server-side work as well, so not all front end. And I've been working with a new language called Crystal. All right, it's 4 years old, but it's still not kind of version 1 yet. But it's like writing Ruby, so it's kind of really nice and easy to read and easy to write. But you compile it, and it runs almost as fast as C. And which for a Ruby developer is absolutely magical. So things like that, yeah, I get lots of experimentation, which I'm excited about.
Service workers are technology which will be available for everyone in the nearest future. So it's tomorrow's technology.
Can I stop you there? It's very much today's technology. It's been the service worker has been in Chrome since early 2015, as well as Opera. It's been in Firefox for a year, other browsers. So it's in the Edge preview. The only major browser it's not a part of right now is Safari. And whilst that's a shame, I have confidence that Apple are working on that kind of thing. They just like to keep things secret. But the important thing about service workers is that they are an enhancement. If you build an application with service worker support, then it will work better in browsers that support service workers. But in browsers that don't, it will still be a website. It will still work as you intended it to do so. You're not going to break anything, or you don't lose anything by not including service workers. You just improve the experience by including them. And then when those platforms catch up, then you just have a better website across all the platforms.
So it's today's technology.
I think it's today's technology, yeah. I don't like to talk too much about things that are far in the future. I like to talk about the things that we can and should be using right now. Because that is how we're going to get better as developers. And it's good to experiment with the very far future things. I think I would probably put WebVR in that kind of area, but for the things we can use today, I think we can improve our applications today with things like service workers.
Touch my next question, which was, which one of today and tomorrow's technologies you are excited the most? Not only JavaScript technologies, but from all IT market, yeah?
Wow. In terms of tomorrow's, like the future as well, I think I'm not entirely sure on this one. It is difficult. Like WebVR is cool. It's coming in the future. Like I said, it's not something I necessarily work with though. Maybe there's other things like WebAssembly for the web platform, which is just bringing like amazing performance to the browser, and may eventually be the catalyst to move off of JavaScript as the web platform, which I'd be sad about. But if you can write in other things and the web properly becomes a compile target, then that opens up a whole new opportunity of performance and experience for users. So that's, yeah, WebAssembly is pretty cool. And then, yeah. I think that's where I'm excited about right now. I need to do more looking into it, but like I say, I get the chance to do a lot of experimentation. So it's actually made me think of a few things I need to do as well.
We are on Code Europe, on the biggest conference for programmers in Poland. How you feel about Code Europe? How you like it? What was the most surprising thing for you in our conference?
So it's a great conference. I've really enjoyed being a part of it for both in Krakow and here in Warsaw. And I guess I didn't know what to expect. It's the first time it's run, and it was it's this big conference. So when I turned up on the first day, and there was just this giant queue of people like waiting to get in, I was a little bit kind of blown away by that, because just seeing everybody there makes it very real, I guess. But there's been fantastic talks. I've learned a lot. I've got some more things I need to experiment with. But yeah, it's been an absolutely great great experience so far.
So you were on other lectures from other speakers?
Yeah, absolutely.
Which one?
So I went to see Elias talk about function reactive programming and in Swift particularly, which is great, and Jens talking on better work with Interface Builder. As I said, I've started working with iOS this year as well, so I'm still learning there, and it was great to see a couple of experiences like that. It's always interesting to hear Douglas Crockford and his opinions on JavaScript, as he's had many and for a long time.
He's the guru of JavaScript.
Exactly. So that was great to see. I'm sad that he doesn't like promises, because that's a lot of where the web platform is going. Service workers are all promise-based, so
it's a controversial topic.
Yeah, a little. I need to catch him and ask him why exactly, because the browsers are going all in on promises, and if they're not a good feature, then are we making a mistake? Yeah, and then what else have I seen? Loads of stuff. It was great to see how Spotify work and how they're doing such an amazing job of sending music to everyone, everywhere, all the time. Yeah.
Okay, and last question. I have your profile from Code Europe, and I was wondering, why do you put only 60% for critical thinking? Does that mean that you think about all code you produce is perfect or something?
I think it's exactly the opposite of that. I'm not sure I think critically enough about my code at times, and so I wonder if it works. Thankfully, this is why we have teams and people to check code and make sure things are working as they should do. But no, I don't know. I think it maybe is down to the fact that I get to play with a lot of different things, that I kind of just get excited about stuff and maybe don't think too deeply into whether it is the best thing, and whether I've written the best thing as well. I definitely haven't. I'm like, there's no way that I am the greatest or perfect coder in any chance. So maybe I should think more critically.
Thank you for the talk.
No worries. Thank you.